This episode is a very special and unique one. The situation and circumstances surrounding this case require the utmost care.
From the beginning, I caught on that something wasn't right. Because it was something that was so off that it hit itself initially from this guy.
Right. And that's when what I felt started to move. And it was like this weird, impish Cupid thing.
This is a very untraditional case.
And that's when I just seen him walk back into his apartment and seen something white kind of by my peephole. And that was the letter.
And when I went to handle the first letter, her comment, as I start to do the spell on it, is, well, what if somebody else wrote it?
You should not be using your gifts for bad anymore. 3 by 3.
She knew immediately.
And I secured her by saying, oh, don't worry, it's only my intent that's going to involve it.
I was right. Go ahead. So what happened was a karmatic slap for laws against the universe that were broken.
I find it intriguing when I come across a person that I can get a fragment of truth, but still feel like it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
They messed up by using Gremlin.
But to go with his story, that what he said, I couldn't make out faces, which usually when I do stuff, I can make out details.
Right. Look at the shadows.
Yeah.
Remember when I kept saying this feels like X-Files?
Mm-hmm.
The smoking man.
Discussion as to if or how we were going to present it.
But she has lived it, and it's like PTSD.
That's exactly where she has been through some sort of ritual that has traumatized her.
And
So now she continues to act it out.
when I saw her picture, I immediately, the hairs come up on my, I mean, the picture you drew. Oh my God, that picture of the barn and the thing, immediately, red flags.
The uncertainty of if some kind of occult mob involvement is going on here.
Get out of it. Don't even.
I've got nothing left for them to take, so
Yeah.
I'm still going to fight them.
Well, you're just one step ahead of them, Jay. I mean, if you can stay one step ahead, but Eric, you've got so much.
Endeavors has already been pulled off the case, so you can hold your breath.
And then, from the spiritual mob to the gangster mob, the team gets called back for emergency assist at a familiar location.
It no longer is respecting the door to the tunnels, and it came out and ran her out of the place.
I haven't ventured into it. I lifted it up and poked my head in there when we first bought it.
Of course, the topic came up of we should send someone down there.
And that was scary. I'm gonna lie.
You braving it, girl?
Yeah, it deserves a freaking cookie after this.
You do.
Okay.
I'm excited to go back. Stephanie did call or text last night on the phone that she was having some problems.
As the team lead attends other business.
Him being the team leader and, stuff like that. It kind of sucks when he's not around for things.
See you guys.
It sounded like it was coming from back here.
Who or what awaits the team in the ominous tunnels?
Dang.
It's 3 a.m.
is a very untraditional case that not just any team would be able to handle. In fact, we actually had stepped down after realizing a little bit more in depth about what was going on, and had our friends in the Dominion also assist on this one. This one's creepy at times, I will admit. The uncertainty of if some kind of occult mob involvement is going on here. Some pretty bizarre and somewhat dangerous if you go down that rabbit hole. But we decided to present the story in such a special way, and here it is.
Okay, so thanks everyone for coming together at this kind of special meeting here. So, as from the beginning, so this voodoo hoodoo thing, it'll be nice to finally kind of put it to rest and move on to what we need to be on to. From the beginning, I caught on that something wasn't right. And eventually, because it was something that was so off that it hit itself initially from this guy.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, Jarrett something, and then he caught on to it. And then the gloves came off, so to speak, when this mystery person had said, okay, let's meet, I want to meet your friend. And then he stepped in and started doing his thing. This isn't adding up. Something is off here. And even evidence in its own different way, but it's more investigative detective work on our end, had put things together to where it's like, okay, that's odd, that's unusual. And it seems to be all maybe the same person, potentially. So, with that said, kind of going back to the beginning, kind of in chronological order. Never a dull moment, I must say, within the paranormal spiritual world. Basically, this started about a week ago. I'd met someone I'm starting to see, and we'll see what kind of connection we have. I haven't ruled out romantic yet. But she was getting bothered by a woman neighbor that's a voodoo practitioner. And basically, she was working on some, under hoodoo, she was working on love potions. And I think trying to force my friend to start to have desires and go after her grandson. Malicious intent, no doubt. So she was messing with free will, of course, because my friend doesn't feel for him in that way, and so she's trying to forge a bond. So there was that fight there, but just kept annoying her. Would leave her little gifts and things like that. There is a vial that we have in our possession that was a love potion of some kind, and we secured that. And so, long story short, we're on our way, meaning Jarrett and me. This is an official Endeavors thing, but she did ask for our help. So we're going there to just make sure everything's okay. And so you're familiar with some, things that can happen in the field and stuff. And so you reached out to me advising that you yourself might need some assistance because your son, you said?
That's correct. My son has autism, and he would see things, chase after them. Right, so in February I did meet one of my neighbors. She is a practitioner in voodoo. I didn't know that at the time, so she would make like bath salts, and she would come over and she'd always have tea or little odd and end things that she would just give us, and just things kind of took a turn after that.
So when did you start catching on that there might be more than just friendly neighbor activity?
Here in the last 2 weeks, actually.
Recently, okay.
Very recently, yes.
Okay. What started you to think that, okay, maybe something's going on?
Her behavior changed. She got more stalkerish. She would wait for me to get home from work. She would track my sister down and wait. She threw oil on me at one point.
Hoodoo is usually more positive based and more love based and more balanced, and I don't mind it so much. But voodoo, there are some darker and some more scary things that can happen. But with it, it has a lot to do with will and belief, and even your own fear enables the practitioner's power. So it's also one of the scariest ones that I've come across because of the physical harm.
It's just kind of wild. You just wonder what state of mind people are in when they're doing this kind of stuff. What good do they think, ultimately to be coming out of this when they're forced through so much opposition, and they themselves should know, there'd be consequences for different things that you do.
And she wanted to meet me. She said a psychic told her to join this site literally within days before she signed up for it, and then met me within 20 minutes of signing up. And then, poof, she deleted her account then after that. She had her fate, I guess we'll call it that. Mm-hmm. So she's like, okay, I'm interested in Eric. He seems like a cool guy. So we hung out a little bit here and there, and within 2 days, she started talking about maybe needing help with their son. So this is when it starts to get into the point of where she's asking for help. And then she started talking about, then it went from her son to, there's this strange lady across the hall that's trying to give her things. This lady had a grandson that also lived with her in this apartment, catty-cornered from hers. And they kept giving her gifts. The first thing that was brought to her attention was a love potion, which indicated that there's some kind of a draw to try to influence somebody to maybe like somebody that they normally wouldn't, Who knows what other malicious intents. And last night we got the report that this lady, she passed on and transitioned, and we hope that she went to wherever she needs to go. And basically this is just the check up on my friend, make sure she's okay, fill out the location, her apartment that she lives in, to make sure there's not anything that should be still around, and just kind of wrap it up, hopefully be done with this. It's been quite a week.
Make sure she didn't try a transfer.
Right.
It's
over to you.
And as much as she cloaked a lot of this before I was able to cross that veil, there's a possibility that she might have still be cloaking.
We did a no contact order. Well, later that same day, early the morning the next day around 3, she actually passed away after that whole altercation.
Yeah, I did leave early from work because I noticed you were freaked on
yes.
that. And you found out through a source that it was suicide.
Yes, I did find out from a source that she did commit suicide at between 3 and 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Things like that, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Something might be to this.
When you put yourself that seriously into things and you break that many rules for your own device and your own reasons, that's just some serious darkness that you take in upon yourself.
Yes.
And it's rather interesting that also at this time, with no knowledge or contact with you, she responded to every action that I used in text, just seemingly to know, and then casting doubt within it, trying to get your mind to warp into her thinking this is how voodoo works.
My identification of everything in the beginning was dead on. Finding out that it was a love potion, she ended up commenting on which gods and goddesses she was using. So yeah, it just kind of, it was one of those wow moments.
Yeah, it was. But like I was telling everybody, it's like, this isn't Hollywood. I could make this shit up. It's just how everything transpired.
And it all happened within 12 hours.
Yeah.
That was the
the
crazy
week
part.
leading up to it, but the climax of it just...
The trying to fix things.
Right.
It was, I started, and then the next day, I was called to the lady realized what was going on and said, I want to meet your friend. I want to talk to him.
Right.
And I was like, all right. So I met her on a dimensional level. She was expecting a phone call or somebody coming to the door.
Yeah. I hope that's not him.
It's all good.
That's her car. The subject is here as well. Maybe you can identify him. Okay, because he's sitting on the bench over by the bikes. Mm-hmm. But you can come out and let us know, and then we'll follow you to your...
Okay.
It's not him?
Okay.
You just wonder. We were preparing for, him to be here, so... We didn't know. Actually, what? His vehicle's not here. Okay.
I'm wondering if this isn't a relative.
You know how I am with attachments. And it started feeling like this really bad tethering. There was this like cord wrapped up. And that's when what I felt started to move. What it was living. So I pulled it out of her. And I did my thing where I pull attachments out. And it was like this weird impish cupid thing. It was a dark mass that was like a cupid. And ironically, I didn't think about it until we were just talking before we started filming. The exact same thing Sedona said when she pulled out of her friend on her vacation.
He did the blowing smoke cleansing thing, which you can explain a little more about now, which you didn't really know.
Dealing with the voodoo gods, they have certain the sacrifice is the wrong thing, but atonements, things that they use that they go, oh, this is how their energies are infused and used. Drumbala, his is cigars and rum. Those two are two major significance with it. Several of his rituals do require animal sacrifice, but that's nothing that we're doing with here. So with this, the smoke and the rum was offerings to him, and the smoke allows his spirit to unite and cleanse anything that does not belong. Yep, I was right.
Go ahead. What is it?
Protect myself in case it's aroma based.
Yeah.
They were using wrong. You do not use Drambuli that way. Drambuli is the god of creation and the god of creator of all deities.
Okay.
So when it's used in a bad context, that goes against what he was designed for. So what happened was a karmatic slap for laws against the universe that were broken. No guilt. That's their choices.
And he ended up doing some remote work, because basically when the point of gloves come off for him was when you got that text that said, let me talk to your friend.
Yes.
Which meant for me, then they didn't probably assume that I had help, I have a team.
No, I don't think
And
they
the whole
realized
team
that.
was involved ultimately. So
And I decided not to make a phone call. I decided to make a phone call.
I know she was kind of bothered because she'd hoped that it was going to be a romantic connection when in fact it's going to be a client connection. And I learned it can complicate things for that. So actually once that was discovered, I pulled back, removed the romantic link out of it as that could be used as a vulnerability. So I don't want those personal emotions affecting this greater good.
I don't know. But if we have to, like you said, we'll step in and, like, I guess, police when needed, but luckily we don't really have to, because for the most part I'm very open. We're an open team, open to different ideas, suggestions, but when they're being used clearly for wrong and to hurt and prey on innocent, no. So, subject number 2 got back, didn't know necessarily, I mean logically, that we were there, but still sensed that we were, and I guess he was quite upset in the hallway. We countered their action with an action of ours, and, again, spiritual. He didn't even touch him. We weren't even in the same place. And he picked up on that.
He did. He was yelling and irate, and other people popped their head out and asked if he was okay, and he just went in his place and slammed the door.
And then what I got a kick out of is a couple hours later he came out again and yelled, what?
Truce. He wanted a truce.
Yeah. Well, that was after he yelled game on.
Oh, that is right. Yes.
Game on, and then he chilled out supposedly.
Yes.
And then he yelled truce. He didn't want no more.
Exactly.
And he brought that letter over as well, and we secured that too.
But just sit back and have this play out in real life.
I honestly thought this stuff just happened in books or movies. I didn't realize.
I had a teammate, Mary, who said that same comment. Like, I thought this stuff was so many movies. I have so much more to learn, is what she said.
I obviously do too.
Everything within every myth there is a legend. And within all of that there's some truth.
A little bit later on, a few days down the road, is when I started opening up more to outreach, because this is something that seemed either a real big mental case, or if it's legit, we were facing this large organization, a cult group, that I'm like, So then after that, there was a couple letters brought over. This is where we start having some of the evidence we start kind of saving along the way.
What's gonna happen? What are you doing?
So this is a letter, basically explain a little bit of this. He left it for you.
Oh, you just put it out the door. You just left it out the front door.
His body oils, his sweat, and his handwriting are personal on this.
Okay.
So this will allow me to bind and banish him.
Oh.
This is a mistake by any voodoo practitioner.
And what happens if he had somebody else write it? Because he has had a person with him all day. Like another person I've never seen before.
It's still my intent. She'll still cover that just in case. All right, and we'll take that up and we'll bind it and wrap it in wrap it in a binding and then coat it in wax. So, when I went to handle the first letter, her comment as I start to do the spell on it is, well, what if somebody else wrote it? And I
I secured her by saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's only my intent that's going to involve it." I knew what would happen if I did this spell on it, and it would tell me who wrote it. And we have it on film, the reaction that happened. All right. Set this in motion. I bind thee from harm. I bind thee from harming yourself or anybody else around you. You should not be using your gifts for bad anymore. 3 by 3. This goes into motion. As it is above, so shall it be below. He's probably going to try and reach out again. Well, if I let them know I'm forgiving, then maybe they'll back off and I can sneak my way in and get this stuff working. No. I don't care if there is a white flag raised. That musket is still pointed. Oh, we just try and keep those evils in this world from trying to accomplish. The greatest travesty and evil in this world is not the evil men that do them, but the men that stand back and allow it to happen.
Right.
And this is a reminder that there is organizations out there, whether they're underground or otherwise, but these almost like mob of the spiritual war type groups, whatever you want to call them. Some of them very corrupt, some of them more dangerous than others.
I was just left with a thing of black roses somehow on my porch.
This is why I put the protections out on the porch. I had a feeling. Changing into animals, changing into smoke, things along these lines. This is why I put the basis not only in the normal entries, but I also did that porch. He has oil in it.
Yeah, it smells like peppermint and tobacco to me.
Yep. Well, that's why I knew it was a love potion. The prayer itself.
Okay.
Not only can summon, not only invoke, it can evoke.
Oh, okay.
So the same process used to create, same process is used to destroy.
Oh.
Now, since I invoked an old god for our help, we will use that old god's methods to deal with it. Blessed be, as it is above, so shall it be below.
How do you feel now?
Are you guys gonna like judge me?
Mm-mm.
Okay. When you guys felt the chills and like felt good, I felt hot and like dread. Like not.
There you go.
I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain how I feel like.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he
There's
feels.
something in my mind like screaming scared. Does that make
The only
sense?
thing is, you're not hearing it.
Yeah, it's like I'm feeling.
That's the shielding in the house. I set up a perimeter around this place.
Okay.
He can't see in, and he can't speak.
Okay. So, because that I can feel what he feels then?
You're feeling his dread.
Right.
You're feeling him because he's tried to get this bond on you. So he's putting that because he can't speak to you, he can't see, he can't. He is screaming out right now.
Okay.
See?
Makes sense
Felt
because I
those
can.
daggers go through his hands.
See what I mean?
Because that's why mine hurts.
How's your burn?
It's
Or your
gone.
mark?
It's
Okay,
gone.
good.
Like,
Yep, that healing.
like, yeah. Like the next day, like it started getting better, and then yesterday was gone.
Right.
All right, so things started getting kind of bizarre. There was a couple different, I guess, back and forths that I caught her in. Started to think at this point something was being made up, and then started questioning and rethinking everything else before that.
And then also ironic thing of it too is because we have her signed release form, played a little detective work, the signatures seem to ironically match very closely. So that was suspicious on the right side. That was one. I looked that up, and that's anyone could find that. It's a song actually. 7 daggers, 7 stabs. So it actually sounds more terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is it sounded so familiar when I had heard it.
But it's a song.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that had happened, and of course, I didn't talk to the detectives myself or police. Who knows if they're even involved at this point?
Well, I called, and they have no reports in the area.
Right, and the thing is, okay, so at this point, around this time frame, that's when the grandmother had passed away, supposedly gone crazy or whatever during a ritual.
If I gave her certain information, he would respond answering what I just told her. Yeah, there's a certain amount of psychic medium and remote shit you can do. You can't get everything 100% of the time. No one's that good. No one.
See, the argument went on to indicate that, her dad supposedly called her even a whore. It's like, you're whoring yourself out, you went to this boy is probably trying to use you for sex magic. And I'm like... So, that was one of the things too where they were kind of like outing themselves. The practitioners, when they're doing this, they catch themselves in a lie, they usually tell you what they are doing.
Right.
So that makes me wonder, love potion and stuff, which is a theory, was actually meant for me. I'm open to that idea.
Right.
Didn't work, but
It's a lot to handle, and I don't like seeing those fellow people with gifts being exploited, taken advantage of. This basically her whole life up to now has been a lie.
Yeah, you blocked
Thing
me.
is, when I noticed this, and he sent me that message, I blocked him first. But it's just interesting how it is. She says in her post, of course it's a shared meme or whatever, but her mind was so complex that even she herself had trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then this mysterious subject says, your mind is not complex, it's beautiful. You just need help navigating it. I'm here for you.
Right.
So now it's starting to go down the path of either definitely or like a multiple personality.
That's
It's just talking to herself.
That's where I'm getting at, and I have discussed this before in my journeys. I've done a lot of work. I've been done a lot of work in mental health, helping. I don't have a degree. But I've always volunteered, and they've always liked the idea that for some reason they communicate with me. Well, in the spiritual realm, I'm learning this more and more as we go to these locations too. Mm-hmm. Mom had taken me places to where for some reason I felt comfortable where other people didn't, like insane asylums, mental health wards, and things along these lines. But a lot of these shadow figures that I come across are in that mental health. They're having issues, so they just come across as shadows. Well, reading minds, doing psychic work, medium work, things along that lines, I find it intriguing when I come across a person that I can get a fragment of truth, but still feel like it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Every part of your being is going, but yet in your mind you are seeing what they see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of it is this weird shadow. Everything is cloaked.
Mm-hmm.
We like to think that somebody is cloaking it from us. Well, remember how the brain works. It can only create so much of the reality. When we're reading a situation that is being made up in the mind, a lot of stuff that the brain can't give 100% details on will just show up as black and white shadow.
Right.
It's just filling.
That particular Saturday, on a waning moon night, I she had messaged me because things seemed to be going okay earlier that day because we had a long conversation with her on the phone. She made it sound like that the boyfriend of her sister was in on it with the occult, telling her, basically taking her without her knowledge out to this barn where she didn't want to go because she didn't want to see her dad. And we told her, don't go. Then she messaged me, she's like, damn it, I'm backstabbed again. Hold on, I won't be able to talk, blah, 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 doing that. All right, so I got this vision. I had to sketch it out. It seemed like it was through her point of view. Usually if I do an astral, which is rare, I don't do it very often unless I feel like I have to for a case.
I remoted in, saw it clear enough that I could look it up on Google and pound the address.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that same night then, while I was walking, which I hadn't really astral while I was kind of in the middle of stuff, but it happened this time.
I told you.
I'm blooming.
Things.
I know. I saw this. But to go with his story, that what he said, I couldn't make out faces, which usually when I do stuff, I can make out details,
right.
Features.
Look at the shadows.
Yeah.
Remember when I kept saying this feels like X-Files?
Mm-hmm.
The smoking man.
Smoking man. She said she didn't like him either. This one nobody likes.
So yeah, and that's the one that I actually have details. I've seen his face. I can see his hair. I can see everything.
Yeah.
And it's so frickin' Mulder and Scully.
Right.
It's not even funny. The details that we're getting is this hint of truth inside of this fantasy.
It's like they have two personalities. They're split personality. That's what they are.
Yeah. So these multiple personalities make it very difficult for us sensitives to know exactly what's going on. Because each one of them literally has its own identity, and you could literally be talking about one person but get 3 different identities off of them and think there's these people involved.
Right.
The thing that I've been getting a kick out of is every single psychic and medium that I have across the country, they all keep saying they're shadowed figure but can describe her to a T.
Mm-hmm.
She is the only person they can describe. Everyone else, I don't know, it's just this, or they just get the eyes, or they just get, a fragment of this.
I'm just a little more protective of myself. Then we differ a little bit on that. I know you were just like, if they're coming to get me, they're coming to get me.
Right.
I'm a little different mindset than that. So I just have a whole like protection thing on me, and also the weight of the team on my shoulders. So I'm just like, okay, and that's why we didn't have everything immediately involved with you guys. Eventually here we're going to release everything in the team chat, but it's just we had to get this figured out first, and then Dominion might still be on their case.
Yeah. Well, especially if this is a situation where she continues to go to other teams and try to continue and perpetuate this.
Right.
What she has.
Yeah.
So she's given me a couple of names. The people don't exist. She says these teams talk to me. They don't exist.
The series markings that appear.
Right.
It's more
to me, when you look at it, it's henna brushes.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the brush lines from the henna.
That, and he also had because he got him. I didn't. At this point, I'd stepped back, so I was referring everything to him. And the hair was darker than her hair, so it looked like someone else's arm.
She's a redhead. She does not have black hair on her legs.
No.
If this is a total perpetuated lie, she's done enough research to know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
But some of it could be true.
That's what I'm saying.
Because of some of the stuff she says, that she has lived it, and it's like PTSD.
That's exactly where I was. She has done this. She has been through it. She has been through some sort of ritual that has traumatized her.
First off, I stood back. I was kind of standoffish. I could have told you this was going to happen. But that's okay. That's mom instinct. And secondly, when I saw her picture, I immediately, the hairs come up on my, and then the picture you drew. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that picture of the barn and the thing, immediately, red flags, and all I could think of was Scully and, and I said to you guys, oh my God, this is an X-File thing. And, but anyway, immediately, the red flags come up, and I said, this girl is bait. These people are baiting you into something. They're wanting you for something. Yeah.
You mentioned that, and that's why we backed the team off.
And the more I thought about it, well, and when I was remoting into this Abdul, I was not getting the picture you guys were telling me. I was getting him as a young guy, about 20-some, maybe, I'm guessing 22, maybe, something like that. A young, tall kid, but I didn't get him as being a Haitian. It come up as red flags all over.
Oh, yeah.
This is not true. She's lying to you guys. She's trying to get you to bait you to do something. And I thought, oh my God, I hope God you didn't get in your car and drive out there, because you would not have been.
I wasn't even going to,
Right,
because I picked that up with the remote view. I'm like, there's not any good that would come of it.
Yeah. Well, she is not good, and she needs to be shut down. And I'm sure she's not the only one involved in this. And I still think she's bait. I still get that feeling.
You know,
It is
it's
a
part
sex
of
ploy.
her. Yeah.
It's a sex ploy.
Yeah.
That's how they get you in, and just back away from it. Get out of it. Don't even.
I've learned to save the people around me that I can, but I've got nothing left for them to take. So
Yeah.
I'm still gonna fight them.
Well, you're just one step ahead of them, Jay. I mean, if you can stay one step ahead, but Eric, you've got so much.
Endeavors has already been pulled off the case, so you can hold your breath.
Yeah, no, Endeavors don't have anything about it. I've told him straight up, I'll go ahead and take the focal on this and go from that.
Dominion has it now.
But this one I decided to show because people need to know that this stuff happens. You're running into it. I mean, new teams that would have encountered this without the experience they had, no doubt they would have been suckered into something.
So yeah.
Wow. I mean, you don't make this stuff crap up.
No,
This is
that's what I'm
not.
saying.
This is.
Right.
Wow.
And you have to watch out because people like this will try to make it look like you are making it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, if you go back on to everything we've talked about via our outlets and everything, if you go back onto that, everybody's piecing this together and saying the same thing.
Right.
How can we all be piecing everything together and saying the same thing if it's not something that's actually going on?
Well, and we've got it together, and we're all working together. And
Right.
the only thing that really pissed me off is when Jay blocked me. What's this?
You don't do well with snakes, let alone a
God.
deity. Let alone a snake deity.
Hoodoo and voodoo by itself, the right hands, is perfectly fine. There's this common misconception that it's evil. It's portrayed that way in movies. It's not the case. But the tool in the wrong hand, no good can come of that. So this is to bring awareness. Teams out there, be safe, be careful, be vigilant. Because if this potential individual, this client, was involved in a team and then met the wrong people, that's a possibility here. But we'll never know with certainty. Happy hunting, stay safe. Until next time. This one kind of came up literally 24 hours or less ago. Just kind of give us some detail. And it's a place that we've been at. It'll be your first time going there. Just kind of lay the groundwork. What happened in last night's conversation?
Last night's conversation was that it no longer is respecting the door to the tunnels, and it came out and ran her out of the place. Mom talked to her a little more than what I did. But yeah, it ran her out of the door.
This was their case 50 of Walnut House, or the Walnut Opera House that we did, chapter 6.
I haven't ventured into it. I lifted it up and poked my head in there when we first bought it.
Of course, the topic came up of we should send someone down there.
And that was scary. I'm going.
You braving it, girl?
Yeah, deserves a freaking cookie after this.
There you go.
Okay.
Like, verify what.
They're verifying exactly what we were told. That's definitely the tunnel. It's got to go under the street.
And we knew, and during our interviews we talked about it, we knew that there were some unfinished things. Because when we left that night, it was already getting close to 5 a.m.
Right.
But they were directing us towards that tunnel at the second half of the night, especially, a little bit at the beginning. But some things happened there. We were driven to believe that deaths had taken place. Someone might have been murdered down there, or two, or more, potentially. And that their bodies or their remains were still there.
I'm excited to go back. Stephanie did call or text last night on the phone that she was having some problems, and it was quite active. And I'm not quite sure if it's the full moon or if there's an anniversary of something, a death or something that happened traumatic there.
Last time we were there as endeavors, they kind of had a feeling not to go any further in those tunnels. I took 2 teams there on my birthday weekend. For those that follow me on Facebook, I live feeded a lot of all that went on. One of the teams that I took down there, they were a little more adventurous, and they wanted to explore farther than where I told them you didn't want to go any further. But that was their choice, and that's all good. We're all explorers, and I push boundaries all the time. But it seems like something else has found its way back. So we're getting called back out.
This is more of kind of like a house call, I guess, if you will. We're going back. Not full investigation status. We did this place, actually investigated it in Chapter 6. It was case 050. And it was the old opera house. It was a really amazing place. I remember going there and the energies that we picked up.
Kind of interested about this one. And I was kind of shocked when Jarrett called me at work today, which is odd because he never calls me, especially when he knows I'm at work, and asked me about this. So I took that as a sign to myself that, oh, well, they're calling me while I'm at work. Maybe I should go to this one, which I didn't have any plans to do anything tonight. So it kind of works out in everybody's favor anyway.
From what Stephanie said to me last night on the phone, is she was on the main floor. The main floor then leads to the back room, and the back room then leads to the tunnel hole. She said that her and Joe put chairs on the tunnel hole just because.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she was in the front, she was getting ready to lock the door, and it sounded like somebody was raising hell back there, throwing stuff all over. So then she thought, well, Joe's not here. I mean, he's in Des Moines, and so she went over to the cash register to lock it up and stuff like that, and she said it got kind of quiet, and then all of a sudden it started in again, and she said, oh no, I'm out of here. I told her we would come, and I told her I'd come and spend the night with her if I had to. But she said she would be fine, and it was okay for us to come today. So we're going to go back and see what's going on.
So kind of bummed that Eric's not going. Him being the team leader and, stuff like that. It kind of sucks when he's not around for things. I am, however, grateful that Crystal and Jarrett are both going to be there.
Because I'm staying back to work on a few things from Chapter 6. And it was so sudden, I didn't really have this planned, as it kind of happens that way sometimes. So I'm going to actually trust my team, as I always should, as a leader should. And it'll be Crystal, Jarrett in India going. So I think they'll do good. They'll keep me appraised of the situation, and if I am needed at some point, I can always go back. Also, I could probably do like a remote viewing or a call on the phone, and I can talk to whoever's there as well if needed. Yeah,
no kidding.
And it's one of those things, it's like, probably kick myself, I know, but it's just so close to finishing that episode.
Where's Eric? What is Eric doing?
Yeah, and
well, that's what I asked him too, actually, when he called me.
Yeah.
I was like, is Eric going? Where's he at?
And that's why, instead, at my place, I was like, let's give another spiritual boost and have you go.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going.
I am too, actually.
Last minute, so see? The leader thinks of you.
Okay.
Alright, well, we get you on the road.
This is like maybe second, third time in Endeavor's history that Eric's not going to be there. So this is a very unique situation that we're all going to be, a short little team without the leader there, because he's got to make sure that you guys get the DVD on time.
Alright. Do what's needed. Remember, listen to all of your intuition, your voices, stop and question a few things.
Yep.
Alright.
Case.
Yep.
Take her easy, son.
Okay, Dad. See you guys.
And as I was closing or locking the front door, I had turned off the lights, and I was actually going to come back and do some painting outside. But as I was locking the front door, I heard a ruckus, and I kind of stopped and I listened because I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I went behind the counter. I was doing some stuff back there, and then I heard much more. And it sounded like it was coming from back here. And it was loud. It sounded like things were being moved or falling over or something. It was a ruckus. That's the only way I can describe it. And so I didn't hang around.
I should be all right getting down in there. I don't know which one you guys want to go.
I'll go.
Okay.
I dressed for it.
Okay.
If there's enough room, I'll go with you.
There's room.
Okay.
There's plenty of room, yeah.
It's just a treacherous
we'll see
climb down.
and analyze it. Since it's already been open, I'm already getting some real bad and nasty. And all the spirits in this place has moved floors. It's just gotten real quiet in here. We've gotten a couple of responses saying yes, they acknowledge that we're doing what we're doing, and they're so we'll take care of what we're going to do here, and see where it goes. And let's get our equipment and get on in there.
I smell, I know this is going to sound weird, but I smell like a rotting carcass in the back.
And somebody clicking down here already.
Clicking?
Yeah.
If we push the ladder that way just a little bit, she may be able to make that move better.
It's I'm scared of small spaces to begin with.
There's a light up here.
Oh, here.
But this connection is very tight.
Oh, thank you. That changes things.
My stomach is already like
Hurting in the, yeah. Yep.
I do have ginger upstairs too.
right here.
Yep.
Right in the gut?
Yeah.
Like right where my surgery was.
Yep, right there. I'm getting her already too. It's not liking that we're here. Okay. India, Jarrett, and Sedana in the tunnels of the Walnut Opera House. Alright, this thing is already affecting equipment. So let's be prepared, guys. Really?
No, the flashlight that just went dead is on.
Oh my god.
He is already.
That towards me. Hey, Eric, don't you wish you were here now?
Yeah.
God. Oh, that's too funny.
Oh my god, this spider was gonna hurt.
That's where we're at.
Holy crap.
How far back does that set go? Wait, do that again? Holy moly. Let me get this camera closer to that.
Oh my god.
I can't even see if I can see down there. Dang. It goes back a ways, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it would be crawling on our knees, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Are we going there? Well, there's a tunnel here. Now, on this side here, it's an actual tunnel versus this room.
Which way should we go?
The tunnel's just straight away, and that's what goes under the street. Which direction are you guys sensing?
Go back there.
Okay, let's investigate further the other way then. There.
Well, we don't really need to go too much farther.
Okay.
I'm already seeing what I'm seeing down here.
There's an end. There's...
Okay, guys. We're back out. And you got me down here this time along with some other people. Sedona was here last time, but she stayed upstairs. And this is India.
Might be. I think if we actually get all three of us into the tunnel.
Yeah. They're coming.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that?
Yep. Flashlight. Did you get it working?
Working now.
Okay.
I totally got Jared's head on that one.
And that is as we continue further down the
It
tunnel.
goes further on down and then goes to the left and then another one to the right. These tunnels go on forever.
We're about halfway, I think, through the building.
It's creepy as hell. That's also a discernment of
Yeah.
where they try to draw you in.
Yeah.
That's why there's this.
No, I'm not saying that I physically, the person that Sedona wants to go further, but that's the
That's the
sensations.
feeling that it keeps giving.
Correct.
Yeah, I get the same too, but this is about the spot I believe Eric was too.
Yep.
And
I would agree.
I'm going to turn off the ITC equipment to see if there's any audibles. So let's be very, very quiet. All right. I've set a boundary here, and I'm going to set up a few more. We have to start heading back that way, or I'm not going to be able to crawl out of here.
Yep.
Guys?
Yeah.
Oh shit. It's all
Holy
red.
moly. You good, Jarrett?
Yeah, keep an eye on me.
Yep. Can I?
Oh, it stopped. Oh god, I shouldn't have said anything.
That's nuts, guys. As dead as it's been.
Yeah. No. We went all the way through there and it didn't do anything.
When I start feeling my legs go on me, this thing's going off.
Yep.
It did not like that barrier.
Nope.
I wonder if I trapped it on the wrong side.
Shit.
It's all good. That's why I said I'm going to set up multiples.
Yep.
That's what I figured.
I had a feeling. Yeah, okay. We're clear here. I'll set up another barrier.
Yeah, I had to turn this thing back on.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and step back through there. I've got to set up a barrier here because that's where the K2 stopped.
No. Good lord.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. That's just from climbing through. What? Oh. Just see what my black clothes look like right now. Something I think was piggybacking Jarrett
Yeah.
All the way down the tunnel.
Yeah.
Here, the last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been talking to something.
Yeah.
It's been real quiet to me.
Yeah, that's when we started coming back down the tunnel. Do you wanna?
Yeah, I can get that one here too.
It's fun. All the batteries out of everything. I know. Oh shit! I almost fell. I'm gonna situate there. Yeah, I'll stand up straight for a minute. Oh Lord. Okay. Crystal was talking to somebody up here.
Yeah.
K2 was going off when I came up here. I was just waiting for you to maneuver so I can pull it up. Alright.
And then set up a third barrier and a portal activated. And if anything tries to approach this, it's like a revolving door. It spins them back somewhere else.
Okay.
So it's just as they attack the door, they end up.
Okay.
It's just it's an out portal for them.
The door is sealed, so don't open it.
Unless there's like plumbing issues and
Yeah.
things, you have to do that.
And then call Jay and we'll come back.
And I'll reseal it again afterwards.
Okay, that's
It's
fine.
no big
I'm
deal.
totally fine with that.
It's cool. This is cool. Every time I come back, it's cool.
This building just gives us so much more,
Oh, it's
and,
just-
and the way they want to interact with us, and
Well, that's cool.
They're not malicious. None of them are. I mean, other than the one thing we encountered tonight. But
Yeah, and for the ones that are
Thing.
left, if they ever act up to the point where you feel like it, just remember the ones that are left here right now, there's no harm in them. It's just like having a pain in the ass older brother. They're gonna
Yeah,
pick
I
on you
said-
from time to time.
I was gonna say like cranky relatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just stand your ground when, and you know, it's my time now. You're welcome here. We coexist, but you know what? Chill out.
Yeah.
I'm not asleep. I must be dead. I'm not